Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Four Students Podcast. It's me, Ed, and everyone's favorite Kellie. And so fun to have really, this is kind of one of your best friends.
This is so fun for me.
Yes. Amy
And
work.
It's hard, I feel like, because I know all of these things.
Yes. Yeah,
like
she's talking.
before they come out of her mouth, I've already heard.
You know what she's going to say.
Yes. And so I'm like, I just keep quiet.
And you could probably add even all
moment.
these little details even to it.
So it's funny. Like, I feel like she needs to tell her story. And I only throw shade like twice.
I know you were actually really good because I know part of your relationship and just part of all of our relationships is to poke and to have fun. And so hopefully we didn't do that too much.
Yeah.
But it was just a really, really cool conversation. And it's kind of fascinating because she knows so much. She's getting her PhD, but we end up kind of zeroing in on her.
Yeah.
Like her experience, like not just the stuff that she knows about human behavior and what makes people thrive, but really kind of this discovery that allowed her to thrive.
Well, it's incredibly relevant.
Yes, it is.
To every single person. So I feel like her working through this and going in and out of this thing that she's going through gives her authority to say things. And for anyone who's listening to be able to be like, okay, well, she's lived this.
Yes.
And this is what helped. So maybe there's some truth in that.
Yeah, she doesn't. I guess that's so true because when it's someone who knows something but hasn't lived it, they're kind of calling you out on what you should do. But this is a person who knows something, has lived it, and is saying,
done it well,
I was
done
struggling.
it not well.
And so I think basically, like, if you're a person who struggles with finding your identity in your achievements, if you're a person who kind of finds a lot of value in what you do and what you bring to the table, like what you're capable of, what you can accomplish, like how much capacity you have, all those kind of super high achieving people that just kind of go and have a really hard time resting. Like if you're one of those people, this is kind of for you. Like it's an interesting, because that's Amy's story. So it's really challenging.
It's funny because she's in a season like this right now, getting her PhD.
Yeah, yes.
But it's not the first time, and there has been there have been seasons of rest in between.
Yeah.
And so going through like the teacher and then the in school and it's ups and downs, right?
Yeah,
and so she's learned all of these signs throughout the years, and now she can kind of go into these situations with more wisdom, which is really cool. And she kind of shares some of those insights into how she responds when she's close to burnout, which I think is really cool and relatable to everyone. No kidding.
Yeah, I think it's just super practical. I think that idea of, and it's going to be different for a lot of people, but I bet some of her signs are some of the ones that other people should pay attention to. 100. There were several that she said, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually corresponds exactly when I've been in seasons where I'm kind of pushing it too hard or don't have enough margin. But I don't know. I just think it's really practical and helpful. I think people are going to hear stuff that at least maybe to potentially be aware or maybe be more aware. Oh yeah, maybe I should at least identify what are the things that kind of start showing up in me when I'm have no margin.
And not with an age stamp on
Yes,
it.
that's right. It's not just for students or
very
adults.
Very much like a whole swath of
this
different
is
people.
Whether you're a student listening, a parent listening, it's going to be
teachers.
And especially teachers, therapists. Honestly, anyone who has that predisposition.
Anyone with a pulse. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just about. Because I think even if you're not a person that, has to go all the time, because I'm not that person. Like my predisposition is pretty like laid back, and I like to be able to say, this isn't getting done today. Like I had this many hours to work on this. It's this time of day. I don't want to work on this anymore, and I'm not going to. It's only those when we have something the next day and I have to do it, it has that kind of a deadline where I'll do that. But I think even for me, the question that she asks or that we get into around where does your value come from is a great question and a really tough question to work through. So
for sure.
This is going to be a great episode for I think anyone listening.
Very excited.
What's up with you? Like what's going on in your world?
Full throttle summer.
Yeah.
So ready to kind of my kids are still young and home, and so summer is I'm privileged to be able to have summers with them.
No
and
kidding.
be able to spend time with them and slow down. It is a gift that not everybody gets. And
That's
I
exactly
definitely
right.
don't take it for granted.
Yes. Yep.
We are spending a lot of the month of June in Ohio with Jane's family.
Okay.
They are
This is like an end of an era for
honestly,
them. This is, it's a little sad. I don't want to,
It's
I'm
quite
not
sad.
trying to make you cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Oh, you closed your eyes like you were about to start crying. So that's why I said that.
I feel things.
I
but
know.
I'm not gonna cry. It's hard to make me cry.
Imagine what if there was like a puppy and it was missing
Stop
one leg
it.
and it was like crawling around.
Crawling around, or
Yeah,
like
because it
had
has- it had-
adapted because they are so
No,
resilient.
but it was just born without one front leg. And so it was like kind of, it
I
had
would
to
just
push
be
around, but it
so
was so
proud.
happy.
Of that dog.
I'm just kidding. Anyways.
They are selling all their belongings and moving into an RV for like
That's incredible.
2 years.
After living on this giant farm for all these years,
Yeah.
and the boys have been going up there, your sons have been going up
Yeah.
there forever, riding the four-wheelers, fishing in the pond, jumping off the dock.
They have a big garden, they have a big barn, and so it's just
That's a tough
Yeah.
end to a season.
so they are leaving Ohio. They're going to travel the country and drive all around, and we're going to go up and help them get out of this house and sell some stuff, put some other stuff into storage, and so we'll be up there for quite a few weeks, and then hopefully July will be really chill.
Yeah.
So.
One of your boys said something pulling away from the farm the last time they were there. Like, he wasn't even really sad? And
Like really emotional.
Yes. and
Yeah.
Like, is this the last time we're going to?
Yeah, is this the last time I'm ever going to be here? Like it, but that's happened like 3 times in a row.
Okay, so now you don't feel as
Because they've
much
been
around
talking
it.
about it. No, I do. I
Oh.
feel like he is reliving this every time we go, thinking this is the last one. And then he's so emotional. And then we're like, no, we're going to be this last time we thought it was. Like we didn't think we were going to be able to go in June and help them. And so he was tore up.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just a lot of childhood memories attached to this
Like
place.
you're saying, core memories.
And so, yeah.
Yep, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. But we're so excited for them.
I know, retirement.
Huge
It's finally here
step
for them.
of
That's
bravery. Like they're so cool. And I feel like I don't know this to be true because I'm not at this season of life, but I feel like once people retire and like be still, then it's harder. Like it's harder to get going again. But if you just continue to go, and I don't know, it just keeps you alive, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think feeling needed, discovering,
Yeah.
constantly like adventuring,
Like
exploring,
moving, like
all of that
continue
stuff.
to move.
Yeah.
So
And I think you're
excited
also
for them.
anticipating them being around,
yeah.
like, to be with the
Hopefully.
kids more and all
I
of
hope
that
that
stuff.
they park their
and
RV right in our driveway
your
for
neighbors
like
don't.
a month at a time.
Yes,
and
but
just
you
hang
guys
out
do.
with us. So
No kidding. Well, it's funny. I think for anyone listening,
New
particularly
things.
any students listening, like those memories of with your grandparents, hopefully you have great
Yeah.
memories with them. And it's like a really special, cool
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, July we're going to take off a bunch, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Mhm.
We're in the thick of it now. So
Into the thick of it.
into the thick of it. But you guys are going to love this episode with Amy. It's so good. And buckle up. Like, I don't know, prepare yourself to be challenged potentially, particularly you really busy folk. But yeah, check out this this interview with Amy Work here on the For Students podcast.
Hi.
Gosh, what's up, Amy? Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is long overdue, I feel like, even though our podcast has been going a very short time. It feels like
It
we've
has.
been waiting for this to happen.
I mean, I've been waiting, honestly.
Well,
No, I'm kidding.
you finally got the call.
You don't have to
Yes.
say you're kidding.
Up
We
to
know.
the big leagues.
This is a truth space.
I'm half kidding and I'm half not, but
Okay.
I am very happy to be
That's
here.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're really excited to have you because we've all known each other. And this is, I feel like, a way I start every podcast. But like,
Yeah.
how did we even meet? And I'm always feel like talking about that.
You're so
And
nostalgic.
I am kind of.
Quite.
Yeah.
I am very nostalgic.
Mhm.
And we met when you had just graduated from UGA.
I was a little baby. So, yeah, it was 2011 and I had just turned 22 years old
Wow.
and I'm now 35. So,
Okay.
I was
That's
just
crazy.
a little baby.
You were.
Mhm.
This was
so
like several
young.
careers ago.
That is
Yeah.
several careers
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, you had just finished the time, this college time that we are trying to prepare students for. Like
That's right.
Yeah,
our whole
that's true.
organization was trying to prepare people to do what you had just completed when we met. We were volunteering in that student ministry together, and it was just wild. We just had meetings. The church was under construction. We would meet like in these rooms, sitting on stacks of drywall.
I mean,
and
you
all
call
of
it a
that stuff.
room. It was like a storage closet situation.
Yes, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Buckets of paint and
Yeah, it was a good time though.
it
What a
was
time to be
really,
alive.
really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was there as this guy showed up for the first time that you were dating. This guy named Chris. I think I haven't met a couple of guys before that, but then met this guy, Chris.
You maybe met one guy before that.
What a pot stirrer you are.
And yes, Chris showed up.
Yes,
we'll
Chris,
just go with
we'll
that.
just start with that.
Yeah.
There was no one
Chris
before
stayed?
Chris. And then
Never.
Chris stayed.
He did.
We love
Yeah,
Chris.
We love Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, it wasn't long after that's when Kelly and Dane.
So I met Dane and Kelly like just a few weeks after I got married. So our friendship is as long as my marriage, which is
It's
11 years
Way
this
easier
July.
to keep track of.
That's
Yep.
really cool.
So because so Chris and I got married in July of 2014, and then in August we started. We joined a small group at our
Okay.
church, and that's how we met Dane and Kelly.
That's really
And then
cool.
after talking to them like twice, I was like, we have to get them in student ministry. Like they would be amazing for
yes,
teenagers.
I remember you because I think by that point I
Yeah.
was maybe or getting close to leading it at some point shortly thereafter. You're like, you got to meet these people. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just sad that I missed your wedding by just so
I know.
few weeks.
You definitely would have been a bridesmaid.
So annoying.
Dude.
I feel like we should all have do-overs
I agree.
now that we know the people that we know now.
And ourselves. We know ourselves better. We
Yes.
know
I
our
would have
friends
done
better.
so many things different.
Same.
Oh yeah, our weddings would be definitely different. No shame on the people probably listening, if there's anyone listening who are actually
No,
in our
it's
wedding.
in addition.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no. Many of them
Yes,
would still
in
be my
addition.
bridesmaids today.
Yeah.
But-
There's just so much more life now that you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, like I want
Mhm.
to experience with you guys too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm.
Getting a redo on those would be really fun.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So we met, and I met her before you did.
Okay.
But you were teaching high school, like Teach for America.
I was,
right?
yeah. So when I first moved to Charlotte to do to become a teacher. I'd always gone back and forth between being a teacher or a therapist, and decided to do. I got my degree in psychology, but then went and joined Teach for America. Which, for those of you who don't know, they if you have a bachelor's degree, they will place you in a school with higher needs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like to fill the gap where there's like a shortage of teachers.
Sure.
So they trained me to teach high school math, and I did that at Rocky River High School for 4 years,
Yeah.
and loved it. It was really hard, but it was really great.
Yeah. Like, so what were you teaching all grades, like freshmen all the way to seniors, or did you have a?
I taught. Well, the curriculum changed a zillion times, but I started back when it was like Algebra 1, Geometry,
Sure,
Algebra
not
2,
Math
those
1 and all of
sorts of
these, yeah.
things. So I taught Algebra 1 and Geometry, and then it changed, and I taught Math 1 and Math 2. So it was
Okay.
mostly 9th and 10th graders, some 11th graders. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you? Do you remember? What did you learn about you and about kids? Because I mean, you were just. You were.
I was
mean,
a
I don't mean
child.
a kid,
Yeah.
but
No, I
like,
was a child.
You were so young.
I was so young, and I remember standing up in the front of the classroom on the first day, and I was like, who put me in charge of these,
I can't believe they did this.
like, quote, children that are literally just a few years younger than me, you know? And
yeah.
and I remember in my Algebra 1 class, I had this very, very sweet kid who wasn't a kid. He was 20, and I was 22.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And
Gosh, that's crazy.
yeah, I still remember you, Walter, if you're out there.
Shout out
Um,
Walter.
But we
Did he
worked.
ever ask you out?
No, but I think I was,
He was
like,
one of the guys you met. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was one of the boyfriends.
I'm just
Walter.
kidding.
okay, people.
I'm
No,
just
there was none of
kidding.
that. Thank you. No.
He was an adult.
That's how misinformation spreads.
That's
Sorry,
exactly
It
go
is
ahead.
how misinformation
I'm
spreads.
so sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, we're
That's
off the
how I
rails.
get
Back
arrested.
to this.
No,
20-year-old.
there was none of that. But he had actually dropped out of high school earlier, because to get a job and help support his family.
Yeah.
And then he had decided to come back. He only had till he was 21 to get his diploma, or he would have to get a GED, and he really wanted a diploma.
I
So
love
he
that.
came back and enrolled. He humbled himself big time. Was in there with 14-year-olds.
Wow.
And math was really hard for him, but he worked so hard. And when he took his end of course test in North Carolina, we call those EOCs.
Yeah.
We we were so nervous. And I remember getting to call him and tell him that he got a 3 and he passed and he was going to graduate. And it was like one of the proudest moments of my life.
That's a cool story.
Things.
Yeah, it was
That's
really,
so good.
it was really incredible. And I was super proud of him. I still think about my students a lot. I'm in touch with many of them, and they're only a couple years behind me. So many of them are married and have babies now. And so, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What did you learn about you? What was it like? Did you learn things about yourself?
I did.
Working with teenagers?
I learned so much in that season of my life. I had no boundaries in that season of my life. And what I mean is like work-life boundaries.
Okay.
I had plenty of boundaries with students. Ask them, they'll tell you about it. But no, I didn't have any work-life balance. So I really, and we'll probably get into this, but just growing up, a lot of my identity was an achievement. And I experienced a lot of difficult things in childhood and had always heard the general consensus that adults were saying around me was, oh, she's fine. She's making all A's.
Oh, yeah,
so I really internalized that as like, oh, I'm fine.
That's
I'm
how
making
I'm
all
okay.
A's.
Yeah.
That's how I'm okay.
Yeah.
School was also like my safe place growing up. It had the adults that were the safest and most consistent. And I really knew who I was in an academic environment. So it doesn't surprise me that I ended up as a teacher right out of school when you're in that young, those years, like really figuring out who you are. At the time, I would have told you it was because I'd always wanted to be a teacher. And yes, that's partially true. But I think subconsciously it was also because that's where I felt safest in the world, was in a school environment.
Yeah.
The rules are clear. Success is very clearly defined.
Makes sense.
All of that stuff.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And I always felt successful and safe in that environment.
Yeah.
So I ended up working probably 80 hours a week every week. I was at the school until I don't even know when. I would get there when it was dark and leave when it was dark. And Teach for America is an incredible organization. It has many flaws, but it's a good organization. But one of the things that they really, really teach you is that if your students are not successful, it is your fault. And what are you doing to fix that? Every single child in your classroom, regardless of anything, figure it out. And I took that to heart. And so that left very little time for really anything else in my life, to the point where I think by the time I hit year 3, I was like a shell of a person outside of the classroom. And I remember driving home one day. It was like just a particularly rough day. Those of you who've been a teacher, you know. And I remember driving home, and I was driving home in silence, which I usually did. And if you know me, that's not me.
Right.
I'm not a silence person.
Yes.
But I was just so like worn out and overstimulated. And I remember deciding to turn on the radio because it was Friday. And I was like, I'm going to turn on the radio, which no one listens to the radio anymore. But again, this was like 2013, 14. I don't even know. And a John Mayer song came on. And I had forgotten that I liked John Mayer. Which, not as a person. I don't like him as a person. He's a tool. But although everybody grows, and maybe he's better now. But anyway, I like his music, right? And I had forgotten that I liked that song or that music. And it made me realize, like, I have done this job so much and so hard and to the exclusion of every other facet of who I am. And I had forgotten, like, all these other parts of myself. So, yeah, that was my first experience with, like, major burnout.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And because we bonded early on because I was a teacher.
Yeah.
When we met, I was still teaching. And I can remember, not necessarily, I never worked with Teach for America, but like in our school districts at our convocations or whatever, these kind of beginning of year, like kind of time when they bring all of us educators together, they bring in someone to get you hyped up and talk about how every child has the capacity to learn and kind of basically that message, like if they're not learning, it's your fault. And I mean, and to some degree, the educator in the room really does have a great deal of control over what that culture is like.
Huge
and,
influence.
all of that. Unbelievably huge influence.
Yeah.
However, they weren't talking about necessarily all these complexities that we have no control over outside of, and what the needs that are not being met that the student's walking in with.
Right.
And unfortunately, the movies as teachers, again, I guess we're talking a lot to educators right now, but the movies that we kind of grew up watching and these superhero teacher movies that are out there that we all have seen,
freedom writers.
Yes, well, just a lot of them,
Stand and
like
Deliver.
if you follow that person's personal life, it's the same
have no-
story.
yeah,
they have
no
no
personal life, or
life.
it's going-
Their
it's, like,
marriages are
exploding.
falling
There is
apart,
no
or they're not
backstory
meeting
to
anybody. It's like they have literally
Yeah.
pouring themselves out
Yeah.
into the lives of these humans. And of course, those people are like gobbling that up and like,
Yeah.
this is so good, and they are succeeding, and it's beautiful. But it's literally that person's withering away
Yeah.
while these people are succeeding.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. Like my kids did very well. I
Yeah.
had kids passing the EOC who'd never passed a math end of course test in their entire lives, and it felt incredible to.
No, you
for,
were like
for that.
huge.
I mean, it felt amazing. It really
Yes.
did. And so it continued to like pat this
Yeah.
little like achiever Amy on the head. That's what my husband calls it. Like, oh, achiever Amy. Like, and it did. It like, but it contributed to the cycle of I do this job to the exclusion of all other things. I have these good results that are happening in other people's lives. Like, who cares what's happening in my own life or
Yeah.
what I need, because look at what's happening here, and just continuing to like, and I think that's an extension of codependency, right? So codependency is I can be okay if you're okay. Doesn't matter if I'm okay. I'm not attending to that at all. But I can be okay, and I can only feel okay if I know that you're okay. So it's actually quite controlling, and this
Interesting.
external locus of control, right? Which is an extension of like, you know, I grew up in an environment where I took care of other people around me, where I was kind of the parent. So, I mean, it just was all, well, you don't really know it or see it until later on in life, but like you really just continue to play out your childhood on
Yes.
repeat.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. And so that's what I was doing. And it was great, and I love it, and I wouldn't go back and change it. But it was not sustainable. And so when I met Chris and we wanted to move forward and get married, and I needed to actually have space for him in my life,
Yeah.
I couldn't continue to be that kind of teacher and have a successful marriage. So,
And so,
yeah.
in order to make room for Chris and for John Mayer,
Yep.
like,
Good callback.
thank you. What was that transition like? Because you said you
Yeah.
taught 4 years, so after 3 years, you hear this John Mayer song. You're kind of the
Yep.
shell of this person. What did
So-
year 4 look like, and what did you end up doing next?
Yeah. So actually, at the end of year 3 is when I decided I can't do this anymore. This is
Okay.
not sustainable. And so I decided I'd always thought about being a therapist. And so I had applied to get my to a master's degree program to get my master's in counseling.
Yeah.
And if I got in, I was gonna, switch over and start doing that.
Yep.
And so, so I did. I was accepted, and so we got married after the 3rd year of teaching, and then that fall, instead of going back to be a teacher, I started my master's program.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But
Yeah,
my
yeah.
school reached out and offered me a part-time job teaching.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and so for that 4th year, I got to teach part-time, and that was
And you loved it. I remember you
phenomenal.
talking
Oh,
about
I
how
loved
much
it.
you loved it.
I did, because I got to go in and like work with the kids that were struggling one-on-one and encourage them and help them and
Kind of
teach them.
the best of.
Yes, and I
of
had
both
no
things.
I had no administrative work. I didn't have
Yeah.
to do grades. I didn't
Oh
have to call
my
parents. I
gosh.
mean, it was the dream. So
Yes.
I did that for 1 more year while I started my master's program.
And so, were you learning things as you began this degree? Like, you also had your bachelor's in psychology, and so, right?
did.
And so it's like,
Yeah.
were you starting to see these patterns in yourself? What was the wake up like? Not only burning out, but what was the wake up to like, oh wow, this is like actually continuation of
Yeah.
my childhood
Well,
as I.
So, and actually, let me back up and say one other thing about that, and then I'll connect it to
Yeah.
that. But the other thing that had really pushed me to step away from teaching and pursue counseling, part of it was that I was burning out. Another huge part of it, though, was the incredible mental health needs I saw in my students. So I would build these really great, close relationships with my kids, and then they would disclose things to me. And then I would immediately have to turn them over to the school counselor.
Yep.
And I thought, well, no, I just built this whole relationship
Yeah.
with them. Like, I want to be the one to walk through that with them. Like, they don't have a relationship with them yet, or,
Yeah,
whatever. And in particular, there's one student, and she knows who she is if she listens to this, but she shared just something really terrible that she'd been going through for a long time with me, and told me that I was the first person she'd ever told this to. And I think I felt so incredibly honored by that, and so just amazed by her bravery. And I thought, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, it's really important to teach these kids math. Like, Sure. My husband's a math teacher. So like shout out. It's
Yes.
super important. But like I want to engage in this kind of work with people. And so that is really what pushed me to say like, yeah, I can do this. And so I hadn't super addressed my dysfunction of like being overachieving and like not having any boundaries. Cause then I just kind of like took that along with me into like my master's program.
Yes. And became
So-
an achiever there.
Yeah. But it was toned down quite a bit because I think like really my husband Chris like would be like, and when are you like, I remember we were engaged and he kept trying to tell me like, okay, but when are we going to spend time together? When are you going to rest? When are you going to whatever? He actually came over one day with like I wonder if we still have it somewhere. It was like an hour by hour weekly like calendar. Like, so you have like Sunday through Saturday and it's like hour by hour on there.
Wow.
And he was like, I want you to fill this in.
Like
What are you
this
what are you
week,
spending
do
all your
this.
time on?
Yeah.
And then where is your rest? Because like you don't have any.
Interesting.
And I was like,
I don't want to do that.
right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because I didn't know how to rest. I
yeah.
didn't know how
That's
to
so
stop.
funny because at the time, while Chris is a math teacher, he was an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he was an
doing
engineer
all
then.
these hours and all this high pressure stuff, for this
he
engineering
he worked
firm,
40
too.
hours a week.
Yeah, okay.
Which is a lot.
Yeah,
In
oh,
America,
sure,
we work
absolutely.
40 hours. It's way too much. But anyway, we should have like a lot more rest and less work hours. I'm here for like the 4-day work week. But anyway.
Let's go. Preach.
Yeah, that's right. But he, when he wasn't working, like he was resting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he had this pattern in his life.
Right.
He's about to hitch
And
his
he
life to
sees it
yours.
in yours is lacking.
And he's like, I'm not to
know.
hitch my life to your life, and I don't think I want to go as fast as you're going.
Yeah, that's a great observation.
Yeah.
How did that feel when he brought this to your attention?
I didn't get it.
You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I didn't really understand. I do think it did help me though when he brought that like calendar sheet
Did you
because
fill
then
it
I was
out?
able to see it. Oh yeah, I filled it out. Oh, he made me. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it did help me to see like in concreteness, right? Because
Yeah.
and this is on the heels of like I had told him going into my 3rd year teaching, I was like, this year I'm really gonna say no to things. I'm gonna tone it down. And then of course the first week of school I agreed to be the student government advisor. And so
Of course you did.
I like called him up on the way home and I was like, guess what? And told him and he was like, we just talked about this. So
That's
Anyway.
really funny, dude. Chris. is
and you
the
know
man.
what? That year we started the first ever Raven Fest and they still have it annually. And I am proud of that. Achiever Amy is proud.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
And those students who
you
get to
know,
participate in that.
Yeah.
And the teacher that is now the sponsor of the Ravens Quest or whatever you just said.
Ravens Fest.
Ravens Fest.
But yeah.
Thanks you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's so crazy.
So I think your question originally was like, when did I realize this pattern in myself?
Well, yeah, and then what do you do? I mean, because that part is such a big piece. And again,
Yeah.
predisposition, it's also not just these patterns. It's also kind of this, because you say like 4-day work week. Some people are like, well, yeah, but I actually love work and I feel like I have a pretty good balance. Like, I mean, what does that look like to not only identify it,
Yeah.
and then how do you identify like maybe this is an issue, and then how do you determine what is that decent balance? Now that we're
So-
neck deep in this talk about life balance, it's like I think
Yeah.
worthwhile to talk about.
That's pretty interesting considering my current life circumstances too.
That's what
Yes,
I'm
because
thinking.
Achiever Amy is like
Which we'll
now
get there.
working on her
We'll get there.
doctorate.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get there. Let's back up a little bit. So, yes. I think the first piece is recognizing, I think for me, it was recognizing why can't I stop? When I stop, what happens when I stop? And what happens is I feel anxious and I feel
Like you're supposed to be doing something? Or?
mhm. And I feel like I'm not being productive. And I feel like, and when you dig deeper than that, I think it got to like, well, I'm not valuable if
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. And that like, if I don't do things, then my life is going to fall apart and I'm going to be miserable. And that is what we call a cognitive distortion.
You talk to our students about this exact thing.
Yes. So that comes from, again, like watching, I think, my family members. So my immediate family, my older sister, my mom, and my dad all struggle with pretty significant mental illness at some point in life and have really, really negative consequences on their lives because of that. My mom's in a very healthy place now, which is great. and my sister's working on it.
Yeah.
Way to go. And so, and my dad actually passed away from suicide when I was younger. And my mom only recently has become mentally healthy. So I had seen all these other adults in my life essentially like have lives that I didn't want and make decisions and do things that really destroyed their lives. And so I think I was hyper vigilant to do and go so that I wouldn't be miserable like I saw them to be. And so being still or learning to be still was really anxiety provoking in me. 'Cause like, who am I without what I was achieving, or who, like, you know, what am I going to do if I don't do the things? The things need to be done, and I'm the one that does them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a pretty common feeling. At least,
Yeah.
I think, particularly with just generally people who are high achievers or who have found identity in that. But I think also, I don't know what the correlation is there, but I see that in my wife. I see it in a lot of moms who are trying to be all of these things and do all of the things. And and the question is, there's not enough time to get it all done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that has to be done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my observation sitting here listening to this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I absolutely fall into all of those same buckets, and definitely aware of it. I still, to this day, feel like if Dana's in the kitchen, like doing dishes, I'm doing something wrong by sitting on the couch. And like, I check like it's a instinctive thing. Like, I'm not trying to do that to myself. But when I put that thought on trial, I'm like, that is so silly. Like, I can sit
it's his
here.
night to do dishes.
I've literally been going all day. I can sit here. But it doesn't sit well. It never will, you know?
I think it's this, like, kind of untrue thought of, I have to earn my rest, versus instead of operating from a place of rest.
Like, this is the baseline.
Right.
Anything else is extra.
Or resting first, or prioritizing rest, or saying, because I'm rested, now I can go do the things. It's more like this belief. And I think it's really deeply embedded in American culture that you have to earn your rest.
1,000%.
Yes.
Yeah, and rest is what you do after you do all the other things.
If you get the other stuff done. I think that's probably the big piece. If you don't, well then, it just didn't happen this week. That's
tomorrow.
Okay. Next weekend, I will get around to it. There was just all this stuff that had to get done on the weekend. I was planning to rest, but I couldn't, and that's okay. I'll get to it.
Or like, if you try to rest before you do the things, then all you're doing is thinking
about all the things.
You're thinking about all the things, and you're feeling overwhelmed by all the things.
You're
beating yourself
unrest,
up, and you're beating yourself up for the things.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest transformations for me, I think, is how I view rest too. Not just that I sometimes, like, that I deserve it, or that I inherently need it, and that's okay. But I think that rest doesn't have to mean just like sitting still. Like, I've learned that rest can look like a lot of different things. So
can you say a little bit more about that, I think? Yeah,
so like this morning, I didn't have anything until 9:30, which is really rare for me. I normally do. And so, of course, there's 800 things I could have done, but I decided I'm going to do something that's going to rejuvenate me for the day ahead, instead of, like, I could sit on my computer and answer all these emails and do all these things that I need to do. Or I have a block time for that tomorrow. I already know that. So instead of jumping the gun and doing that, that's what my anxiety is telling me to do, right?
Like, get ahead.
Get it done.
Get it done. Do the things, whatever.
You'll have more time tomorrow.
Right.
You won't.
To fill it with the things for the next day.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm actually in a place of, like, almost at depletion right now, just current circumstances, and which we can talk about. But and I know that I'm at that place of, like, depletion. And so instead, I specifically chose, like, I'm going to do something restful. So for me, there's a lot of things that are restful for me, but one is slow body movement. So I went on a slow walk with my dog, being with my dog is also another thing. So I took her for, like, a 45-minute walk this morning. And yeah, was it productive? Depends on what you view as productivity, right? I'm trying to reframe.
Yeah,
it actually was productive, because it was what it was what I needed. So, yeah.
I think, I don't know, I just hear all kinds of things. One of the things I've talked to people who are like, the only time I really feel like I'm allowed to like actually not do anything is if I'm really sick. And then I'm allowed to lay in bed and then like, and these people, I mean, to your point, what you just said, Kel, is that they still can think of all the things that are not getting done that still need to be getting, and people get up out of bed and do things sick like you do. But that the only time they actually feel like it's okay to just sit and binge all of these shows or all these things they've been wanting to do and just rest and have time for themselves is if they're sick. I think for me, a huge change was this realization that the list will never be done. There's never an end to what needs to be done. So if that's true, then you have to prioritize. You have to build this rhythm in. It has to become part of your rhythm. And that's really hard for a lot of people.
And really going back to like even what Chris was doing when he was like showing me that schedule, right? That calendar of like, when are you going to schedule in rest? Right. And like at that time, that was such a foreign concept. Now I'm pretty good at resting. Depending on the season. I have seasons where I can power
funny because
through.
I see all, I got a front row seat to your, so keep on with that thought.
Yeah. Depends. Well, here's how I'm prioritizing rest now.
There we go.
So Ed and Kellie already know this, but I have deemed this summer Slow Girl Summer. The reason is because in fall of 2023, I started a PhD program. It's a doctorate in counselor education and supervision because I miss teaching. And so it's will essentially equip me to be able to be a professor and teach beginning counselors in master's level counseling programs. So now I can teach counseling. Well, not yet, but
so
soon.
Cool. You're such a great teacher. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm
So
excited.
cool.
I'm really excited about it. But this program is incredibly taxing and hard and amazing and challenging. But it requires a lot of me. So I have been doing that since then. And this past semester was really difficult for a lot of different reasons. It was great, but it was just very time intensive. And so I ended this semester like really on fumes. And having worked with a counselor previously, I kind of know what my signals are when I'm starting to get to the place of burnout before I reach it.
I love that. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that for everybody listening. You have already identified when I start seeing these things, I should pay a little more attention. Because I'm getting near the end. I'm not about to be a healthy version of Amy.
In some talk with you told those to the students.
Yeah, the students. We were in front of students, and you were willing to. Should you
share
really quickly?
like,
what are those things for you?
So some of those things are. I start really just having like a very kind of a low grade depressed mood, like about, and I'm a very like joyful, sunshiny, rainbow puking unicorn kind of person. So I kind of just feel like this low grade sadness all the time. I feel incredibly physically exhausted 100% of the time. I withdraw. So I avoid, like, I don't text people back, maybe like 5 days later. And maybe not. I also get like pretty short. I'm a very patient person, with children, not as much with adults, but like with my son, I'm super patient with him. And, when I start, that patience is really short. When I start getting mad at my husband for like everything, everything, it's poor guy. Anyway.
When you stop moving your body.
Yeah, you said exercise goes out the window.
Exercise goes out the window.
Yeah, that's a really bad one.
Like, I don't have time to work out.
I'm like real far in that hole right now, so I didn't even think about that one anymore. But yeah, that one.
The only reason we know that is because you mentioned that in front of the kids that day.
Oh yeah, no, that's a really big one. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, and you like John Mayer as well. I want to remind you.
Not anymore, really. It's all Taylor Swift now, but always has been really. But John Mayer was in there for a little bit. Anyway, same with Taylor Swift, but she wrote him off too. Anyway. So this morning when I went on my walk, it was like, right, I like started moving my body again. Like that's the entrance into like slow girl summer. So all that to say, I was already like kind of in that place and had started recognizing those things. And then last week, my mom's husband passed away. And it has been just very stressful for a lot of reasons. And so that kind of bottomed me out further. So with that in mind, I've decided this summer I was enrolled in some classes and it even paid for them for my program, but I dropped all of those. So, and this summer I've set it up where I'm only working 3 days a week, and I'm not taking any classes this summer. So, and my goal is to do a lot of resting and a lot of just being and a lot of yoga and exercise and painting and
The things that fill
being
you up.
outside
Yeah, I love
and being
that.
with my people.
Really cool for you to see the signs and then actually do something about it.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It's one thing to see it and then just
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm going to just put my head down and I've only got one more semester. I've only got one more year. And like, then there will be this at the end of
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
But
I'll just suffer now.
right. But stopping and taking the
Yeah.
time now so that it goes down.
Yep.
It's very
Yes,
brave. Very
definitely.
brave.
Like, because I could just push forward and say like, oh, well, I only have, a year and a half left. I just need to push through it. But there's I think timelines are so arbitrary. So like, yes,
That's
my
so true.
my program is like, you should do it in 3 years. Why?
Why?
Because
So
how long you actually have, like you have a lot of time to actually
you have
complete a
8
doctorate.
years to complete
8 years to
the
complete your-
stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason why they want to push you to do it in 3 is because they're afraid that you'll quit if you don't, because it is hard.
That's understandable.
And I get that, but I'm going to finish it. I'm not a quitter.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about that. And so I'm going to take a break this summer. And
I love that.
I'm really proud of
Yeah.
you. That's really great.
thanks. I'm proud of myself too.
Good. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really quickly, what did Chris say when you told him you wanted to get your doctorate?
Can you do that on your next husband? No, I'm kidding. JK. He actually did not say that. He was like, are you sure? Because I've already been in grad school for 4 years when we've been married. Or the first 4 years of our marriage, I was in graduate school.
And how long have you guys been married now?
Excuse me.
Can't remember. You said this at the beginning.
11 this
years.
July.
Okay. So
So-
7 years. So you've probably got some margin back in your life. You've now been a
Oh, yeah.
counselor for a while.
Yeah.
It felt really good. You're like, I've got all this time.
Getting bored.
Felt
getting
super
kinda
good. That's the
bored.
problem.
And so
Kelly's
I'm
right. That's
gonna-
what happened.
You know what? I should get a doctorate.
You know what?
Yeah.
I should go back to school.
Right.
Achiever Amy's whispering to me. "Get a
Yeah.
doctorate."
That's the problem. So if you look at my life as an adult, every 4 years I do something.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was a teacher for 4 years and then I was in grad school for 4 years. And then for 4 years I was not in grad school and just was a counselor. And
Well, not just a counselor. You started your own counseling practice.
I did,
And like,
yes.
so you have, it's really cool. You've done a lot of really neat things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
not surprising that now you're in this
Yeah.
rhythm. It feels kind of comfortable. You had some margin. You're like, I'm a learner.
Let's
I want to
shake
go
this
back. Let's
thing
shake
up.
this thing up.
I
And
am.
I not only could go learn more, you also are a purpose kind of driven person
Yeah.
where you saw I can go and make a difference in this training in these counselors so they're better
Yes.
prepared.
100.
Yes.
And so it's not
You don't
just
wanna
like
get me on
just
that
Achiever
train.
Amy.
I could
But-
really talk about that for
I know,
hours.
yeah,
so
sure.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, I was just curious how Chris responded when you were kind
He
of said, "But,
knows
babe,
that-
things are so good."
Well, yes, he did say that. He was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Like, that's a lot. It's expensive. It's time consuming.
Yeah.
Like, we have so much margin. Why?" But at the end of the day, he was like, "If that's what you want to do it."
Yeah,
He
of course.
knows that he married somebody who is just.
He's very supportive.
He's
He is.
very
He
supportive.
is.
He knows he married somebody who's gonna do the things. Like he is on board with that.
Yes.
So he's very supportive and
He's
I
very
just-
supportive.
yeah. When I
Keep
get my
saying that.
PhD, I feel like he has all like his name should also be on that
Yeah.
because
That's so
he's
funny.
been a huge part of it. He solo parents, actually since we had our son who's 8 years old. He has solo parented 2 nights a week because I see clients 2 evenings a week, kids and teens after school. So, and yeah, I know a lot of women whose partners would not do that,
Yeah.
which is
absolutely.
dumb because you're also a parent. But a lot of women don't have an equal co-parent like I do.
That's awesome.
We love you, Chris.
We
We
do. We
do.
love you, Chris.
He's the best.
And it's fun because it's so funny because here is this this whole podcast so far has been about mental health, about how to do, but specifically through your own personal experience. You know all
Yeah.
these things, but it's so funny how
Yep.
close all of this is to you
Mhm.
specifically. And now you're seeing all these clients as well.
Yep.
So really quickly, what would you say to those super achiever kids? You know what I mean? And what do you say? perhaps, and I know it's, it's tailored to each individual because it's all different, but are there any maxims or anything that you would say to adolescents who are listening, who are those high achiever kids that can't rest, that feel like they have to achieve to have value?
Failure might be the best thing that ever happens to you. So, when I left teaching, I felt like I failed. It felt like a huge failure.
Like you quit teaching.
Yeah, it felt like I quit, but it felt like because I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore, and I don't like being in any place where I like can't do something because normally the person to me is like, "Oh, you said I can't? Watch me."
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But I really did get to the point where it was like, I am not functioning anymore as a human being. And I probably could have like set more boundaries and worked less. But at that point, I had gone so far that I just had burnt out completely.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't anymore. So, and it felt like a huge failure. I felt like I failed at my dream because I thought I was going to be a teacher forever and ever and ever. And there's also this trope of like Teach for America teachers who they come in and they teach for 2 years and then they quit and they leave. And I always really prided myself on like, I'm not going to be that, like those are the people who don't really care about the kids. And, I want to be different. And so it felt like a huge failure. But it turned out to be really, really good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But is there a way, I guess, that will, or at least has high potential to teach you? Is there a way to figure it out without having to get to that point?
Yeah. I mean, I think some other things I would say are look at the things that you're doing in your life. And is there anything that you're doing just for pure enjoyment and joy and pleasure and not for achievement or accolade or credential or anything like that? Like, what are you doing just for fun, just for joy? And second, I would say what's going on in you when you're not doing things and pay attention to that. And if you're not able to just be and just sit still,
that's a red flag.
Hightail it into therapy and like process that, like talk about why that is. Likely it's because your overfunctioning has been a really effective coping skill for you for a long time.
And overfunctioning means just doing. Is that what that? Okay.
Yep. So for me, like in childhood and adolescence, it was a coping skill for me. I didn't have to stop and slow down and recognize like how, really like traumatic things were. And tragic
and feel
things were.
all of that stuff. You could do
I didn't have to
not
feel anything.
it.
Right. Yeah. So it was really adaptive
Yeah.
in childhood. And a lot of times kids and teenagers will have these coping skills that are in childhood, they're really adaptive. They really help you survive the situation. But then you get out of that situation and now you're a young adult out in the world. And those coping skills that were helpful, or those adaptive skills that were helpful in childhood and adolescence are now maladaptive because you're no longer in that environment. And so you start to use those same responses in relationships that should be safe. And before you know it, you're wrecking those relationships because those adaptive things in childhood and adolescence have become maladaptive. So the overfunctioning had really sustained me for a long time, and then in adulthood became maladaptive.
Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's crazy.
So so that would be the second thing, is to sit still. I had a third thing and I don't remember what it was.
And that's okay.
And that's
maybe
all right.
it'll come back, maybe it won't.
Yeah, I'm just there's certainly some parents listening who need to hear this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping also that there's some students that are listening that maybe have, you remembered.
I do.
Sure.
I remember
Yes,
it.
we want to hear it.
Where you really need to have a minute and really think of where your value comes from. Do you truly believe that your value comes from your accomplishments? Or do you believe that your value comes from just simply existing? Because like, where do you believe that humans get value from? Are people valuable just because they exist, or do they have to do things
That's
in
a
order to
tough
have
question.
value? And really sitting with that and figuring that out. And asking, like, do I have value even if I don't accomplish XYZ?
Right. Gosh, everybody needs to hear that.
For sure.
Like that's, and the answer to that is a really tough one. That's
It
quite
is.
an examination. That's a journey.
Yes.
To really, because the whole human being versus human doing, that whole thing or whatever, we're constantly being given examples of more and more and more achievement. Like people just the boundaries keep getting pushed in every arena possible.
Yeah.
And we're constantly being shown all of these new achievements. And so how could we possibly not compare?
And we're face to face with everybody else's achievements on social media every day.
That's what I mean.
And
That's exactly
and they're
what I
only
mean.
posting their achievements,
Yes,
not their failures.
exactly.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
tough.
wild. I think about it often, and it's wild. So this will be the second podcast in a row that I brought up golfing. So I swear I'm not like on this crazy golf
Boo.
kick, but
I'm just kidding.
but yeah.
I feel strongly
A
about
couple
this.
guys on my street play golf a lot. One of them belongs to a club and all of that, and so it's like I find myself thinking about it, and I find myself more interested in it than in it maybe ever.
Okay.
Which is weird, okay? And I would say that we constantly have told people you are who your friends are, you will be soon.
Yeah.
And like so the people I'm hanging out with are into golf a little bit. So I find myself into golf a little bit. So
Right.
that's happening to me.
Okay.
But there is a show called Full Swing on Netflix, and it's a documentary that follows professional golfers in like the PGA, et cetera. And there's a guy on there, and I wish I could remember his name. Golly, I can't remember his name, but it's in season 1 of this documentary. And this guy and his buddy, they grew up in the Midwest, and his buddy is his caddy, and he's now a professional golfer, always just kind of was a standout in his hometown, played in college, now is on the PGA Tour. But he's always like ranked 70-something. And his caddy wants him to do better because caddies get a share of, right, of what they win.
course.
And his caddy's trying to make a living and raise a family and all of this stuff following his buddy around. So he wants him to succeed. Meanwhile, the buddy is like, and he said this in the documentary, and he became my favorite golfer, and I need to remember his name. But he said, somebody's got to be the 76th best golfer in the world.
That's right. They
I
do.
love
And
that.
so I love that,
Yeah.
so,
Love that
much.
so much.
And there's something I took from that where it's like, it certainly seems the case. Like I think about the biggest names in whatever you can possibly name, whether it's music and Taylor Swift, or whether it's finance or it's sport, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And these records just keep getting broken. Like your record isn't going to stand no matter how great you are at something. Someone else is going to come along and be better.
Yeah.
Not that you shouldn't strive to be the best you can be. And I know that there are athletes and people that are constantly doing that. And that is their purpose, is to become the best at this thing. But I think it is dangerous when you start putting your value in that thing, because it's inevitably going to fall. And so I don't know, to that point, like it's a tough
I
thing
also
to
think it's about
wrestle to the ground.
phases too.
Yes.
Like you can have a phase in your life where you're the best at something, right? So if you think about all the records that people hold, they hold them for a time.
Yeah.
And that's okay that they were the
that
best
was
at that
amazing
time.
at
So
that
even
time.
the people who are the best right now and the records right now, those will eventually get broken.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you can have seasons of life where you are killing it and doing all the things. And then you can have seasons of life where you're going to have a rest girl summer, or, you know, a slow girl summer.
Yes, I love that.
And
Mosey,
like,
lots of
so like
moseying.
this season of summer, I'm going to be the best at nothing academic.
Yes,
And like, I'm actually kind of excited about that,
that is really
which is
cool.
weird.
I'm excited about that.
I know, I
Your-
bet you
Your
are.
very good friend is excited about you being available.
A lot of people in my
your
life
husband,
are very excited
your
about
child,
it.
Quite
Yes.
excited.
your mom, everybody's
Yes.
pumped.
Yeah. So
That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Great question, tough question. I think anybody, it's worth thinking
I mean,
about,
it's-
like where your value
It's
comes from.
relatable. Like I think everybody struggles with that, not just students.
No,
Everybody.
it's
It's
every.
It's
Every
it's
single
the human
person.
condition.
Yep.
Am I
it really is.
am I worth
good enough?
something?
Am I
It
Am I
is
valuable?
counter-cultural. It is not the normal. It is opposite.
And
Yeah.
especially in American culture, for
Yes.
sure.
100.
For sure.
Yep. So, what are like? You're obviously excited about this summer. Like, what is the next big thing you're looking forward to as we wrap this up?
Well, this summer, I haven't told my husband yet, but I'm going to Disney.
So this comes out in a few weeks, so
I gotta
hopefully
tell him
he'll
before
have
that
time. You got to
happens.
tell
You
him
got,
before
like,
it comes
3.5
out. Otherwise,
weeks.
Chris,
That's right.
surprise!
I'm going to go to Disney with Kelly.
With me.
That's
That's
right.
hilarious.
Super excited. I'm going to take the money that I was going to spend on school. I just got it refunded, and that's funding my Disney trip.
That's amazing.
Yep. So, so I'm doing that.
Did you see me side eye you? I was like, is she gonna say it?
Yeah.
You got time before release of this.
That's right. I'm going to need the release date in advance.
Yeah.
We'll be able to get
got
that
it.
to you. We'll figure it out.
Great. And then I am going to go to the beach for a week with my family.
Awesome.
And then other than that, I am going to be, just doing a lot of things that I find restful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
and just
that.
like enjoying life.
Yes.
And then in the fall, I'll pick up school again. So this fall will be my last semester where I'm taking classes. And then I'll be considered ABD, which means all but dissertation.
Oh, wow.
So in December, I'll be done with all my coursework. And then all of 2026, I'll work on my dissertation.
And does that include the research, or is the research going on now?
No, well, I just finished one research study,
Okay.
but that is separate from my
Okay.
dissertation. So,
Very cool.
So I'll do the whole study. I'm going to be studying ADHD and attachment relationships. So
Okay.
that'll be all in 2026. And then hopefully by December of 26, I'm going to be
Dr.
graduating.
Amy work. That'll be really
And I'm going to
cool.
throw a really big party.
Yep.
And I'm going to wear a shirt that says Educated AF.
I love that.
Yep. It's the dream.
Love that.
So exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just think, I don't know, you said something right before we started recording officially.
Yeah.
And I think it ties in beautifully. And I think it's maybe a challenge to anyone out there. It was to me and has been to me, because we'd heard this phrase before. But this idea that you said, Elliot is only going to have one mom, and I am that mom, and no one else can be Elliot's mom. And so I'm going to do a really good job at this thing that no one else can ever
Let her
do.
say it. She
Yes,
says it better.
You say it. That was way too wordy.
Say
you
it.
say it. What
You
did
say
you
it.
say?
Yeah, well, so I fill a lot of roles in life, and but a lot of other people can do the things I'm doing. There are other people who can be in a PhD program. There are other people who can be a counselor. There's other people who can, do pretty much anything I'm doing. I think the fact is like having the humility to recognize that you're replaceable in many, many roles in life.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain roles that you're not replaceable, and so for me, like no one else can be Elliot's mom. That's a role that only I can fill. No one else can be my mom's daughter except my sister, but no one else can do it like me. No one else can be my husband's wife currently.
Right.
So like looking at the roles that are irreplaceable, and making sure to focus on those. And also no one else can take care of me the way I can take care of me. Right. Like I'm the only one who can make sure I get enough sleep. I'm the only one who can nourish my body. I'm the only one who can move my body. So looking at those roles and really focusing on that, and making sure that when you're doing all these other things, you're not doing them to the exclusion of the roles that only you can fill.
Love that.
Yeah,
it was interesting. You also, I think, reposted something the other day on your story about like somebody waiting on someone to show up and rescue you, and it's always going to turn out to be you. I thought that was incredibly
So
insightful.
I had posted that. Yeah, that quote is really important, and I forget the exact words, but the idea if you're waiting for someone to show up and change your life, it's going to be you. Yeah, essentially, like no one else is going to come in and make the changes in your life. There's not someone that's going to show up and force you to do the things you need to do. Like if you want to make your life better, that's got to be you. You have to do the thing. So, or to stop doing the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm going to stop doing the things this summer.
For the summer.
It's
Love
going to be
it.
great.
Slow girl summer.
Slow girl summer.
Amy Work, thanks so much for coming on here. I mean, dude, we could literally, and we do when we're all together.
I know,
we
could
just
talk for
forever.
hours.
We literally
It's just
only
so
talked
easy.
about like
one
topic.
aspect. Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Which I guess you'll have to have me back.
Well, duh.
Okay.
That was literally halfway
Pull my
through this.
leg.
I already knew we were going to invite you back because I'm like, we've only gotten to
Obviously.
talk
I
about
know.
this
There's
idea
so
of
much
busy
more.
and achievement.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
But I think this is really helpful. And since it's your experience, you speak to it not only with this incredible informed authority of, being a counselor, but also of lived experience. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
So thanks for being so vulnerable today. And
Thank you
real
for
about
having
it.
me.
Heck yeah.
It
Love
was
it.
delightful.
Thanks for being here. That's it.